Oh, I'm frozen like we are live, but I'm kind of a little frozen slow. But we are live.
You're
I'm
kind of
Lynn.
alive.
Yeah, I'm Lynn Serrano.
Sheryl Isenhour.
We'll be right back. Hopefully, live. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Cheryl. How are you, Cheryl?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Oh, wow. It's that time of year where we still have a little weather situation going on. And today's topic, I know we started talking a little bit, and I know what we were talking about, but it kind of fits in with the weather times too. So, as far as are we prepared, I think we both were picking the topic together. So, I'll just start with you. And as far as with the are we prepared?
Well, I have a stepson that's in Florida, so you can imagine.
And I got
We
my
all,
dad.
and I was getting ready to go there. We always try to make sure they're taking care of everything before. Your dad's probably more apt to do it than my stepson. I think they party more when it's hurricane season. But other than that, it's, you know, we all need to get prepared for it here. I mean, we have had leaks before, and because the gutters, yeah, those things,
Yeah.
were not right.
Today I want your mind in the gutter, Cheryl.
Ah, and- but because of that, we had to have larger gutters put on, and we are just now in the process of making sure all that's covered because we were flooding especially the lower garage down there. A couple years ago, we flooded the whole house flooded because of rain. We're in the flood zone. And so we just have to kind of stay prepared. It's things you've got to do. So whether it's rain or whatever, and we've had rain now 3 days straight, and it's not looking a whole lot better out there today.
Mm. Yeah, it's coming your way, and it's coming over by Miss Laura in South Carolina over there, Charleston. So I tried to call her before the show, and she didn't answer. So she's probably trying to get some sandbags going or something. So, and my dad this morning, I talked to him last night. He was doing good, and this morning I was like planning to sleep in, and at 7 o'clock this morning, my dad calls me, and of course I see his phone number, so I'm gonna answer, right? And he's like, "Lynn, did you call me?" I'm like, "No, Dad, I didn't call you." I'm like, he goes, "Okay, I just checking." I'm like, "I'm glad you're checking because when I call, it's always, Dad, how you doing?" But we're also talking because I'm studying for life insurance testing and stuff too, and we're just talking about just being prepared in life in general. I mean, sometimes we're just not prepared, or we just don't know that we're not prepared, and we don't know what we don't know, and there's so many things that we're just not taught when we're growing up to how to be prepared in life. Except that when you graduate, you get that little diploma. Okay, you're supposed to
Yeah.
you guess what? Your parents can't take you to the doctors no more, or have no permit. You don't need your permission to go to the doctors and get, surgery or whatever. There's just so much that you're responsible legally for yourself anymore. And you're not prepared. You're just not prepared.
And the bad part is, and I don't know where you put the blame for this, but so many people coming out of school have not had to do anything. I mean, I know people that still can't balance their checkbook.
Hmm.
Okay. And I'm thinking, or let me rephrase that, someone who doesn't really keep a checkbook. They just, if, if I look at there and it says I have money, I have money. That doesn't mean you didn't spend some right prior to that. But that's the things we learn. And then I've got people that are trying to hire for service trades that have never been taught to read a tape measure. And these are 20 and 25-year-olds. It's not just the right fresh out of school, it's people that can't read a tape measure. They can't do math without a calculator. They can't, just the normal things that when you and I were in school, we learned to do. I
Yeah.
mean, I figure if we're going to screw up the world, what we need to do in a couple of years is just get dial telephones again and start writing in cursive. nobody will know how to do anything.
Yeah. Well, the problem is when you teach kids textbook, only textbook, and they don't have on the job training, they're screwed.
Hmm.
You can't just learn textbook stuff. You got to apply it in real life. And to think that business math and business courses were elective, as in you can elect to learn, and who gives a shit if you were going to really use it in real life?
Yeah, I mean, we had home ec. We learned to cook. If your mom didn't teach you to cook, somebody did. You learned to sew.
Yeah.
The guys learned auto mechanics. They learned bricklaying. They
Wood
learned
shop.
to do something with their hands and their mind. And I'm not sure they even offer that anymore. I've not asked anybody in a while, but I know a lot of the trades aren't there. Now, we're lucky enough here in Charlotte, we have a group that is doing some off-site trades training.
My daughter got to in her senior year, she got to build a house. I mean, literally from ground up. And she was one of the few girls, I mean, a real house that they actually went ahead and sold and everything, from ground up. They did a whole school year and whatnot. So they had hands-on, learning and stuff. But again, it is a sad commentary that we don't learn skills, life skills, until it's necessary. Well, like I've always said this. I've never said it on podcast, but I'll say it here. It's sad to say, but I believe that this is true to say that whether you go to school for this or not, everyone doesn't leave this planet without one thing for sure. And that is to learn medical terms or about medical conditions. Because whether it's you, a sibling, a parent, or someone you will learn what diabetes or cancer or blood pressure or fever or anything. You will learn the purpose of taking medication and the purpose of why a blood pressure or diabetes or something. You will learn terminologies and how to take care of those things for the benefit of survival or someone you love or know or care of. You know, I mean, you learn for one reason or another. And guess what? You don't need to be certified in that. You have to know it for necessity. Like even CPR, you learn that without a certificate because it's a necessity. I mean, they don't show you that in school
They
unless you go to get a certificate.
they need to things like that.
Yeah,
My opinion, for what it's worth, those things need to be taught
yeah.
in school. Now, do you want them beating somebody's chest in? Probably not. But when I learned CPR, I learned on the big rubber doll that
Hmm.
read what I was doing. And should I probably take a refresher course? Probably. It's been a lot of years, but I know enough to know where to do it. Honestly, Lynn, a lot of people don't know where your heart's at.
Right,
You know, everybody throws their hand way over here. Well, it ain't over there.
right.
And so,
Well, and so the thing is like, are you prepared? Is the simple things is, you know, like when you leave a kid home for the first time to babysit, are you prepared to know where 911 is? Where are you prepared to call, or Google or know how to dial the numbers you need to? I mean, it's all these things. We don't realize that you're not prepared for certain things and know how to handle things in case of an emergency. Who are you going to call? Where are you going to call? What are you going to do? I mean, and the simple things they show you even in an emergency basis. One person stays with the person and the other one has to call 911. 911 is going to help you through the emergency for one. But if you're there trying to help the person and you don't call 911, you're screwed already. You're already screwed. But
and you know,
some people aren't even prepared to even know that.
and the bad part, if you're not prepared and it happens, you could be too late. I
Yeah.
mean, you could be past the point of someone surviving. But it's the big things, it's the little things. Another thing that just drives me up the wall is people that cannot make change
Yeah.
out of money. Yeah, money's not the big thing that's used to pay stuff with anymore, But when I go into McDonald's and I hand somebody a $20 bill for a $8 and some cent, and she's standing there and, well, I say, or if I hand her 100, if I hand her a 20, she can usually plug it in the machine and it tells her. You hand them 100, they don't have that number.
Oh yeah.
And they'll
It's
just stand there and look at it. And it's like, I told her one day, I said, give me a penny and punch in $99, whatever. But anyway,
yeah.
it's just really
Yeah.
weird. And I hate that. That's the one thing we have. I don't know if you have quick stops there. I think it's quick stops.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now
Quick
that
ways.
they the companies around here, they train for a month before they let them on the line. And
Well,
they have to be able to, they do not use a machine here to make change. They will not let them do that. They have to make it out of their head. They have to be able to run 2 cash registers at one time,
oh good.
and they have to know how to do that fluently.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that my grandson's girlfriend worked there.
Hmm.
And the thing about it is, I kept saying, well, have you started work? No, I'm still in training. And so after I let her get out of training before I started becoming the what was going on thing. I thought maybe she was just having brain moments. And she was telling me all the things that they had to learn
Yeah.
prior to walking on the line.
That's good. Well, like I said, it is sad when, you're not prepared to realize that. I mean, I see why you need to be very stern with people, because if you're not stern with them and explain, though, the reason why they need to know this, if you just tell people this is the way we do it, but if they don't understand why it's important to do it, they don't have the desire to understand why, you know and that's the thing. Like, I was training somebody the other day at the hotel, and I explained to her, this is why I do this, and if you don't do it this way, you can have the repercussions. And sure enough, a few minutes later, she goes, why is this here? I said, remember when I told you would forget? She goes, oh my gosh, you're right. And I mean, it's just the simple things that if you cover your ass and you do things a certain way, you can find out that it's just like back in the day. Remember, you would do times tables, and then you could go ahead and divide, or you would divide and then you would times. What were you doing? You were checking your work to make sure that it would equal. You know, checking your own work is the best way to know that you got the right answer.
Yeah. And
And
and that's what people have to do. I mean, may they learn it on down the road, maybe not. Another thing that scares me is people not knowing how to plant a garden. You may never need it. You may never ever need to plant anything. But what happens if that time comes that you have to know it? It's going to be.
what's even worse is when people see a seed and they think it's dirt or garbage and throw it away.
And, I try to understand that it's different times and different worlds. And when I grew up, it was hard to have 2-acre gardens and stuff like that. But I am so glad I grew up. I rode horses. I milked cows. I planted gardens. I'm so glad I had that knowledge. Not that it makes any difference to you or anybody else, but it's my knowledge.
Yeah. I want to say hi to these beautiful ladies that came on, Nicole and our Debbie, just talk about knowledge and being prepared. And it's going to take me a minute to upload this, but I'm going to share a little video here in a minute, and she's probably going to cry that I'm going to share this video. But you know, you're never too old or too young to start something new. And Debbie started something new that's real exciting. And I've got a little video to share that she just did a soft launch for her new Studio 11 thing. And this is a little video. This is This is her little soft launch of her business. So hold on.
I don't even know how to express what I want to do. This business is going to be more for me than just selling clothes. Clothes are fun and all that, but I want God to be in my business. Whether we like it or not, he is. And I accept that. And I am excited to have him in it. And so I thought, I really want to have, every time I get new inventory in, I want to pray over my inventory. And then when you receive it, it's a little bit of God in there and woven in that.
So I just need to share that because I'm just so proud of her. I mean, she just, she produces the show Find It, and I produced the show Find It, which is on tonight. And she's a marketer, and she does all sorts of great stuff. She's just a giving person, and now she's going to have this little studio, and she's using an app that she's not, and she didn't feel all prepared, but she's still going out and doing it. She had great friends that showed up to help her do the studio. And I'm just blessed that those people showed up for her. She's such a great, loving person. And I love you girls. Thank you. But we are going to we're going to support her and check that out. But again, whether you're prepared or not, you're not going to know if you're not prepared if you don't try doing it. Right, Sheryl?
Right. But look at it this way. What she had prepared was her heart.
That's right. That's right.
When your heart's prepared, the rest can happen.
That's right. And that's the thing. I mean, look at you back in the day. I love the fact that back in the day, look at that chills. I got the chills too when she said that. But back in the day, Sheryl went in a field where she went ahead and wallpapered in a construction industry where it was mostly men dominated back then,
Yeah.
all men. And she went and she didn't take no for an answer. And she went and she had kids to feed. And she went in there and she paid the way for her to have a business so that she could provide for her kids. And I just love that you said, you know what? That was a great story. I mean, you're like, you knew you couldn't take your kids to you said I need to provide for my kids. Like, it was a great story.
Well, when their dad left, I cried one day. I really did, because I was scared to death. Not that he left. I was scared. The second day, I got really, really mad. That evening, I called my uncle and told him I wanted him to take me to meet his contractors because I was going to hang wallpaper.
And the rest
The day after that, he took me the next day against his will, okay? But the very first contractor we ran into, and I know it was timing, I know it was, while we were there, the big old bag phone went off. And this guy's standing over there just screaming into it. And I remember he walked back over there to me. He said, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "I guess I'm hanging your wallpaper." So I had nothing to hang wallpaper with. Nothing.
There you go. You weren't prepared, but you made sure you
got home. I got everything I needed by 9 o'clock that night. I was prepared. And
there you go.
That was a 22-year profession.
There you go. I love that story. I love that. And it was the desire to get the job done that got you prepared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just do it. Wait, put your feet to the ground, just like my grandma used to say. And I said this one time in front of a bunch of Ziegler people. We were asked, okay, I'm just going to block that one out. But anyway, they wanted to know what person was really important to you and why, and when you were down or something like that. I forgot what it was. And I said, it was my grandmother. And they said, now you've got to imagine a group of Ziegler people.
Yep.
And I said, Grandma said, shoulders back, boobs out, and get on with life.
I love it.
I use that more than you really want to know.
And that's why she's where she's at today.
I still have some of those people that were in the class. They'll send me a little note, got shoulders out. Or shoulders back. They know exactly what I'm thinking about.
I love it. I love it. If you notice, I'm sitting better than at the beginning of the thing.
I mean, that's what it's all about. Everybody wants to wimp down instead of getting prepared. Well, this is going to stay in subject. Instead of getting prepared, they want to wimp down.
Yeah.
I mean, throw your shoulders back and start working towards something. I was lucky to be at the right spot at the right time and all the other stuff. But if it takes weeks, if it takes months, if it takes a year, I don't know how long Debbie thought about this, but I'm pretty sure she didn't sit on it long.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Debbie was on the phone with me yesterday. She knows I had my strength up yesterday. I don't take no shit either, so.
I don't know why people do. I really
no.
I mean, I think you're important. And that's what I want to get through to everybody today. You're important. I don't care where you've been or where you're going to go. You're an important entity, and you do not know whose life you may change the next time you open your mouth.
I love that. And I was going to ask you if there was anything else you want to say before we got to go. But every time I say that, you already dropped the mic before I get there.
That's my thing. That's my parting thing. Always remember, people hear, people see. And you may never know it. We talked about that this morning. You may never know that you helped somebody.
And that's okay. You don't need to know. You don't need to know.
And that's my final words. Bang.
Oh, mic drop. Sheryl, I hope you never get tired of saying this, because that was yesterday and this is now, and now is all we ever have. And I can never say it enough, but it's an honor, a privilege, and I love you so much. And I love you more now than I did yesterday. And I can say that every day because I truly do. It is always a privilege to be here on the stage with you. It really is.
Love you too. And for everyone out there, have a great week. And remember, look ahead, shoulders back, boobs out. Get on with life.
All right, you guys, have a blessed day. Love you guys. Bye.
You're like a circle